Since its inception in the pre-colonial era, the Zimbabwe Council of Churches has been an intrinsic part of Zimbabwean politics from day one. The history of the organization and that of the country are so intertwined they cannot be untangled. For one to decipher the nation's politics today, they have to appreciate the church's key role in it and how deep its roots are in religion. Many believe the church's influence to be limited to spiritual issues only. On the contrary, it has been playing a pivotal role in shaping national politics. ZCC General Secretary Reverend Dr. Mutata sheds more light on the history of the organization and its positive influence on Zimbabwean politics.
Zimbabwe Council of Churches is a fellowship of mainly churches that come from the missionary tradition that started to work in Zimbabwe as early as the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. It was mainly a platform of missionary groups that came together to say, if we want to engage with the state, we find a way to synthesize our policy engagement. When they started as the Southern Rhodesia Missionary Conference, the intention was to strengthen their own cooperation internally, but also as they engaged with the state. It was agreed then in 1964 that a new establishment needed to be put in place that would take seriously the challenges faced by the segregated communities, and the Rhodesia Christian Council was formed. It was formed actually in Gweru in June 1964. There was an agreement that they needed to establish the Rhodesia Christian Council in line with the World Council of Churches. And then it started to work from that time and made a huge contribution to the liberation struggle. The stature of the church was therefore quite raised as far as nationalist politics was concerned. And it's not surprising that the president of the Zimbabwe Council of Churches, together with the Secretary General then, and other members of the executive, had to accompany the Lancaster House discussions on the sidelines, encouraging the patriotic fronts as they were trying to find a common way of arguing the case for Zimbabwe in 1979. When Zimbabwe got free in 1980, it was not surprising that actually a clergy in the person of Reverend Kenan Banana was asked to be the president. Ever since, the church has continued to try and present itself as a platform for serious national engagement. I think you will be aware that actually it was the church that started to monitor elections in Zimbabwe, which led to the birth of the various civil society organizations that were now given responsibility to monitor and observe elections. Together with other church bodies, Zimbabwe Council of Churches largely influenced the reimagination of the future of Zimbabwe by establishing the Zimbabwe We Want study document in 2006, much of whose work has actually informed the current constitution of Zimbabwe.
The organization has been actively participating in public policy throughout the past decades, focusing more on national elections in an effort to harmonize and improve participation of the process.
The Zimbabwe Council of Churches will actually encourage our members to go and register as voters, but also to go and vote on the actual voting day. They need to be active.
It's a sacred responsibility for Christians to participate. It's an important ritual for people to participate in, and so conscientizing people about that and giving them the responsibility and mandate to seek out information, to question, to play a part in the electoral process, breaking down the polarities, because by then and even now we were distinctly polarized across classes, across parties. So that was a context where the church could and still can be able to navigate between those polarities and unite people and create platforms for people to participate and have a say.
The recently held by-elections was a yardstick for the church to measure the progress of their electoral endeavors, which include launching of the I Pray I Vote campaign, training and deploying ecumenical election observers, citizen engagement, promoting inclusivity and encouraging peace during and after elections.
The I Pray I Vote campaign is a campaign by the churches which is hinged on 4 pillars. The first one is awareness raising, where we are encouraging our members and also the public to go and register, but also to be interested in being active citizens. Then the pillar number 2 is what we call agenda setting, where our members actually set the agenda for all the stakeholders. We have a role to play in electoral processes. And then pillar number 3 is election observation, where we motivate our members to monitor and observe all the electoral processes at very, very local level, thereby updating us for informed decisions as church leaders. Then the last pillar is post-election envisioning process. We take note of the fact that elections alone are not the solution to Zimbabwe. As a result, after the elections, we still need to reconcile the nation, we still need to reconcile the communities, families, thereby building a culture of dialogue. So these are the 4 pillars of I Pray, I Vote.
My expectations is that especially number 1, reforms. Loma reforms, my changes. We came from the generation of poverty. Because way back, if you see way back, my price is stable, even in a chingo. I took one thing at 0.90 cents, but now it's $1. It's not like everyone is able to afford that $1. See, people, they wish with the chingo, they try to take $1 for 250 cents, 50 cents. I think it's part of the change that we need.
Every election is an opportunity for young people to go and express what they want, what they desire, what they want to see, and how they want things to be. Please, let's express what we want.
As a church in Zimbabwe, we sincerely appeal to every citizen in Zimbabwe to be peaceful, non-violent, and respect the sanctity of life. I pray, I vote.
Sibe labantu abaza ukuthi bangakhethwa babe ngabantu ababuyele ebantwini, babe ngabantu abahlala ebantwini, babe ngabantu abancedisayo ukuthi khona what they would have promised people bakugcwalisise at the end of the day.
Panosvagwa ma-candidates a-2023 ngati nyanyeiwo kuisa vana mai pazvinzvimbo. Tinoona kuti representation yana mai haina kunyatsokwana, hakutorina. Takatarisa madzimai mashoma, saka zvido zvana mai hazvinyanyi famba nokuti anoziva zvinoda mai ndimai. Saka tiri kutarisira kuti detawana macandidates echidzimai akawanda mabato kwatiri uko. Ngativhoterei vana mai tigowana vanotitungamirirawo sana mai.
We have had a lot of different candidates that have promised during their campaigns, but they haven't fulfilled their promises. For this time, I pray, I vote that we have a God-fearing candidate who is going to unite our people, especially in Bulawayo.
The church continues to push for peace, unity, justice, and prosperity in the country in all electoral stages.
Until and unless there is a national conversion in which we find a way to reborn new politics, to give birth to a different kind of politics, a politics of ideas, non-violence, and a politics not only of competition but also of complementarity.
We are saying elections come and go, but we are left with a certain quality of leaders who are meant to govern us and to guide us. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our leaders are cognizant to the needs of these other groups in our societies that may appear as though they are marginalized.
Tarisira runyararo kusingatikanganisisu vanhu vane disability mukufamba even kunovhota uye zvimwe zvatinotarisira kuzek ngaiitewo zvinhu kuti nyange tichisvikawo panovhoterwawo pava panokwanisa kusvika munhuwo ane wheelchair achikwanisa kuzvibatsira.
Stigma and discrimination excludes people with disability from the normal societal activities.
Following the by-elections, ZCC produced the Economical Election Observation Preliminary Findings on the elections and conducted a press conference to highlight the by-elections' key findings.
This is a journey, and our findings are so far in the interim. We are not oblivious of the fact that elections are never an event but a process. So even after the compilation of these reports, it's not surprising that we can hear of some machinations within our nation. So this will be updated constantly, and Zimbabwe Council of Churches will take pride to inform the nation and also to accompany the nation.
The report compiled highlighted issues of political violence prior elections, hate speech during campaigns, biased coverage of the rallies by the media, and many others. In response to this, the church gave the following recommendations: promoting local dialogue among politicians, intensifying voter education, equal representation of all vulnerable groups.